Well, good morning, and it's the 3rd of September. I was nearly going to say August. It's the 3rd of September, which happens to be the anniversary of the start of the Second World War, by the way, back in 1939. I just wanted to add in a few little comments and thoughts, let's say, some of which is just hardly been touched on, but to be honest, I'm going to put a photo of Alan Coyle on here as like a thumbnail. He is the television or the ABC Australian network a financial spokesman, and he has some wonderful charts and information every night on television. And he has said, well, you know, talking about Australia being in recession, he said, well, actually, you've got the difference between a recession and depression is this. A recession is 2 months of negative growth. We're now into the 3rd month of it, by the way, so the news is starting to hit home. He said, but the graphs and all the data is showing that we're going to have negative growth for a couple of years or more into the future. So he said, that's more of a depression than a recession. And I thought that's a refreshing burst of honesty from somebody on the media. There's several quick thoughts on this. And in relation, by the way, not only to the economy, which is in a mess, but to COVID-19, which is largely the cause of that mess, and other issues, very briefly. Now, COVID, the people talking about getting out in a couple of months at the time. Oh, well, we're going to be locked away for a couple of months. We're going to clear this up. We'll get rid of this in a few... They're not going to get rid of this in a few months. They're trying to get a vaccine that is effective and is safe. That's very, very important, by the way. Extremely important. Well, what the media are not telling you is that even what they call an effective vaccine would be, at the best, 50% effective. And that means if you vaccinate 2 million people, and by the way, there'd be a lot more than that get vaccinated in Australia, 2 million people would be vaccinated, 1 million would never get COVID-19 the rest of their lives. They're safe. They're part of the 50% that works, in other words. The other 50%, the other million, they're not going to get COVID-19 right away necessarily, but they will be susceptible to it over a period of time. They'll think they're safe from it, but they're not. And in that case, with the 98% recovery rate, if the 1 million people get it, well, then there's 2,000 out of that 1 million would die. I would suggest too that there would be many more deaths than that, and they don't want to talk about it, and just as they don't want to talk about depression, they rather call it a recession. The politicians on both sides are guilty of this, that, oh no, we're not in a depression, oh no, it's called a recession. Okay, well, come back in 6 months. Still don't like to call it that. Then you've got some other problems. Anyone who's watching YouTube or watching anything that's going on in the media and watching the situation now realises that the United States and China are more than in a Cold War again. They're likely to be in a hot war at some time. And this could occur at any time. I mean, no warning, nothing. For example, I won't say too much about this, but some people in my family and friends know what I'm thinking. The Americans are patrolling within the 12-mile limit of the fake Chinese islands in the South China Sea. And all that is needed is for one of the ships to get sunk. However it gets sunk. I mean, I'm not going to say any more about it. It's just going to, one ship gets sunk. And with Donald Trump in charge in the United States, please don't be shocked and if suddenly there's a massive war between the US and China. Now straight away I got family and friends who say, oh no, come on Johnny, give us a break. No, they'll resolve everything, Johnny, she'll be right. But if they don't, the problems we've got with COVID-19 now, and the problems we've got with the economy, and that moves me on to a third subject, let's say. And I've got a travel group that's, is remarkable. It's heading towards 4,000 people at the moment, members. They're all asking questions like, is it safe? Can we get around Australia? And the answer is no. Can we go overseas? Of course they know that the answer is no. They're going to be in a travel bubble, as they call it, between Australia and New Zealand. Well, not right now, because you've got, unless you do it between Queensland and New Zealand, they won't allow people to come in from New South Wales and Victoria, for example. So there's no real sign of that yet. Japan wants to have a travel bubble to Australia. Well, maybe in a few months. Depends how under control they get this COVID-19 in Japan, for example. They bring it right down to very manageable levels. And then if everybody, they're talking, by the way, of 80% of the population getting vaccinated. I'm not rushing out for 1 minute to have that done, by the way. But if 80% of the people get vaccinated, they say, oh, well, you can travel now. Here's where the danger comes in, as I was mentioning in the beginning. Oh, get vaccinated, jab. You're right now, off you go. Well, it's not that easy. You've got about a 50% chance that it'll work and a 50% chance that it won't work. So all they are doing in the end is two things. And I mentioned this briefly. I can't believe this, my phone's going. Excuse me, folks. Hello. Hang on just a minute. Sorry about that, the phone rang again and again, by the way, once by accident and so on. And once legitimate, let's say. I'll try and round this off now anyway. You've got the three things happening at once, and this is something that's not really talked about a lot in the media, but this is what I'll conclude with, let's say. COVID-19, worldwide problem. Needs a vaccination that's safe and effective. Effective is 50%, because the flu vaccination is only 40% effective. That's not very good, is it? So 50% effective, no side effects, and safe. Great. They will then use that as a reason. Some people will jump on me and say, oh, it's an excuse, but it's a reason to allow people to travel interstate and then overseas. What is the timetable for that? I am already saying 2022 is the earliest we can expect general overseas travel, and maybe 2023, would you believe, for general travel around the world. So we're still a long way to go with that one. Now, the spanner in the works could be if there's a war between the US and China. And if that happens, you've got a situation there where international travel would be over and done, finished. I'm sorry to have to say this, but that's what would happen. Trade around the world would be just about finished, especially to China and probably Japan and other places, because if there's a major war on, they can't go anywhere. They won't have any trade. So we won't be sending gas and iron ore and coal or anything else to China, and Chinese junk won't be coming out here for sale in our Kmart and Target and other stores. And they would be in severe troubles very, very quickly. Brand new cars, you won't get any more. And we don't make them in Australia anymore. And there'd be a lot of goods that would not come into this country. We'd have to start making things again within a few years. Now, I've been on about that in the past, so I won't go on and on and on about the same subject. But travel-wise, as I said, just concluding, we got a real lot of problems in the future with not only COVID, but we've got problems with a potential war, and then we have no real understanding of how long it will take to get out of this mess. But I just thought I'd put those facts up as I see them. Anyone's welcome to politely and in a civil manner reply or add their viewpoint into this or whatever, and discuss the issue if you like. But there you go. So thanks for viewing.